Science!
Welcome to Science this week. So, this week, starting off, something pretty cool was found on a tiny island off the coast of Scotland. A large Norse Hall. Think of Valhalla. A team of researchers from the Archaeology Institute at the University of the Highlands and Islands has unearthed the remains of a large Norse building at the site of Skaill farmstead in Westness, Rousay, a small island about 2 miles north of the mainland, the largest island in the Orkney Islands of Scotland. Now, before even hearing about this, this is how unworldly I am. I didn't even know there was this many islands off the coast of northern Scotland. And, if you look up on a map of where this is, it's just, I didn't know that there was that many tiny little islands out there. It's pretty interesting. The Norse Hall dates back to the 10th to the 12th centuries and was discovered below a more recent settlement. So they kind of, built up onto this older site, which happens a lot. The building appears to be in excess of 43 feet long and is orientated down the slope towards the sea. 3.3 foot wide stone walls were found 18 feet apart, with internal features such as stone benches on either side. The archaeologists that found the site also found pottery, soapstone, and a bone spindle whorl, and a fragment of a Norse bone comb. So, all the evidence suggests that they found something pretty important, which is pretty cool. Dr. Ingrid Mainland, co-director of the excavations, said, "We have recovered a millennia of middens, which allow us an unparalleled opportunity to look at changing dietary traditions, farming and fishing practices from the Norse period up until the 19th century. The present farm at Skaill dates to about the 18th or 19th centuries, and it was part of the Rousay clearances during the mid-19th century. However, the name Skaill suggests that the site was home to a Norse hall or drinking hall and was a high-status site. Westness, the area that it's in, is mentioned in the Orkneyinga saga as the home of Sigurd, who was a powerful chieftain at the time. So it was always likely that a Norse settlement was located somewhere near this area and therefore would have a giant Norse hall. The Orkneyinga saga is a historical narrative with the main focus on the many different jarls that ruled the earldom of Orkney, which is a lot of these islands, and it included this one island. Sigurd the Stout, he, technically speaking, was the Earl of Orkney from about 991 to 1014 AD, and the real history of the man is very highly contested because we only have Norse tales like the saga to go on. We don't have any actual historical record. It's all myth and legend. And so everything that was written about Sigurd was done so hundreds of years after his actual death and kind of like as a retelling of a lot of these stories and myths. So there's many camps of what to believe about these different people, which I think is pretty interesting. The scientists went on to say, although only partly uncovered at this stage, the Skaill Hall has parallels with other Norse halls excavated in Orkney, such as Snusgar and elsewhere in Scotland. And I have a really, really cool 3D model of the site. And that's what's so cool about technology is like you and I can virtually walk through this site. I'm going to do that right now. So you can see right here, here's the site of this incredible hall, the ruins that they found and have unearthed. And it's giant. And you can just picture, like from the old time, myths and legends of Vikings, drinking their mead in a hall such as this. But it's pretty cool. Like that's the main structure in the center there, and then all of the walls, like there's a blocked gate that's been blocked up, after the fact to build on top of it. A block door. There's many block doors because they probably walled up this and used it as different things after, it existed in 900 or whatever. A couple different pits of demolition rubble were found. So other excavators have been trying to excavate it or reshape the land. This is where they found some of the pottery, was right off of that wall, which is pretty cool. And even remnants of earlier buildings were found to be existing in this structure. So this has been a very busy area, basically, of a settlement. So it's pretty neat that, you know, it has a lot of to do in the Norse tradition and the Norse history. More rubble, more different fragments that they found of sandstone in this area. And then, you know, also kind of flanking it, they were able to find, you know, even more earlier farm buildings, earlier structures around this structure, which is pretty cool. And then the structure itself, in the middle would be the domestic range. That's where, you know, people would kind of live and kind of hang out. There's a giant fireplace to heat it, which, you know, I'm sure it got very cold, especially sloping down towards the sea. Many shelves were found built into the wall, you know, so who knows what could have been being housed there. Another blocked door in the farther area, which is kind of cool. I wonder why they got blocked that up. Another fireplace, so it had two separate fireplaces for warmth, but also for making food, because this one was on the back of the dairy. And they know it's the dairy because they actually found the cheese press and remnants of dairy on that cheese press, and more shelves probably to hold utensils or, you know, vials of milk and cheese and that kind of thing. And it's pretty neat that we can walk through this site this way. And again, technology is incredible that we get to do that. The scientists go on to add that the finds provide tantalizing evidence for the earliest phases of habitation on this farm and settlement mound, which may well have been inhabited for over 1,000 years. The discovery of this and other complex buildings at Skaill, along with the rich artifact assemblages from the medieval and post-medieval periods, provides us with tantalizing opportunity to understand the life in Westness over the last few 100 years. And that's what's so cool about finding a site like this. It's not just we're finding an old Norse Hall, you know, of the days of old. We are, but the farms that have been built on top of it and kind of peeling back all of those layers, you really get a sense of how this environment shifted through hundreds and hundreds of years, and how people lived and worked and existed in this area, you know, from way back to Viking times, to the Norse times, to, you know, even the mid-19th century, and you get much clearer of a picture. And that's what's so cool about archaeology and being able to uncover history in real time and go as far back as you possibly can by just digging a little deeper. It's pretty neat. The next topic I want to talk about this week is a really cool website from NASA. In fact, it's been winning awards the last few years. It's called the NASA Home and City website. It's a completely interactive NASA site. It just won the 2019 Silver Addy Award, which is an advertising award. But it's won a bunch of different awards for innovation and education, as you're about to see. We talk a lot on this science segment about recent news in space, different advancements that are happening with science and space technology, and also, you know, what we're actually doing in space with space exploration and some of the experiments that are being worked on in the International Space Station. We've actually been working continuously on the International Space Station as scientists since 2000, and in just 2 decades have advanced many things that we actually take for granted in our homes, in our cities. The impact of space exploration outside of we're returning to the moon or going to Mars or whatever is sometimes lost because what we achieve in some of these scientific experiments kind of trickle their way down into everyday things and stuff that we just take for granted, but was developed either in space or thanks in part to the incredible astronauts and scientists that work for NASA. And that's what's really cool. And that's what's so cool about this website, because you can, in an interactive way, kind of go through either home or city and see how some of these things have impacted. And I really recommend to take your time on this website. And I put the URL right in this episode. It's really easy. It's homeandcity.nasa.gov. But for the viewers out there, I'm going to walk us through just a couple of the cool little areas of this because I just think this website is so neat. All right, so when you get to the website, it looks like this, and you can either explore your city or explore your home. And we'll start with the city, which I think is pretty cool. You click on that. It's filled with all this new information, and it's a virtual little animated city. And you can move your mouse around and kind of in 3D move around the city, and you see these little blue dots keep appearing, and that kind of gives you a little bit closer look at some of the stuff that you can click on. So like first and foremost, which is funny is here's your house, which you'll get to in a minute. First and foremost, let's look right at the NASA building, headquarters right here, right? You can click on that. It zooms you into NASA, and you're kind of just in a virtual NASA headquarters, which is kind of fun. And space technology, exploration, and research, something we talk about a lot. And the Space Technology Mission Directorate is responsible for developing a lot of what you get to see in your everyday. And every single one of these, you can click to learn more, and it opens up in a completely new window with tons of information directly from nasa.gov, which is absolutely incredible. But we'll click out of that right now. And so if we get out of here, we can kind of still go around, and let's go to the hospital. You click on the hospital. There's medical, and again zooms us right in, and now we're in a normal looking medical building. And you can click on any of these blue dots to tell you extra things about what NASA has helped to do, like automatic insulin pumps. People with severe diabetes need to keep a close watch of their insulin levels, and some need to give themselves multiple daily injections to keep blood sugar levels healthy. A portable automatic insulin pump based on miniaturized fluid control system used in the search for life on Mars takes over and does all the work for them. It delivers insulin continuously at pre-programmed rates, allowing the wearer to lead a more normal existence by participating in sports and traveling freely. And you can learn more about this, but what's interesting is this has been out in the world for a handful of years now. People who are dealing with diabetes and various things where they need insulin, this technology has been readily accessible. And it was because of developing technology of searching for life on Mars. And how awesome is that? As we go around the room, you can click on other things like prosthetics over here, artificial limbs. NASA innovations are used by private companies to produce vastly improved artificial limbs. Special foams that make astronauts safer now cushion prosthetics for increased comfort. Diamond coatings that increase the life of space vehicle parts prolong the life of prosthetic joints, and innovations in robotics power advances that allow prosthetics to operate more like real limbs. And again, this is so interesting just to see a photo like that. You're 100% going to want to click more, and that's going to give you even more information and videos and everything else on what NASA is improving with artificial limbs. How cool is that? So that's just a little taste of the city. You can see you can go to the airport, you can go to the public safety, you can go to coastal, and it's really, really interesting to dive deep into each of these buildings, and then even into sports, and then click on everything that you can see and what NASA had a hand in developing. Like tennis racket, what is that? Vibration control improves the performance of skis, snowboards, baseball bats, hockey sticks, and tennis rackets. Their improved technology began with the NASA-supported development of thin, electrode-filled, self-powering patch, slightly bigger than a baseball card, designed to control noise and vibration and detect structural defects in the blades and wings of helicopters and airplanes, and that's being used in new smart equipment for sports. How cool is that? So 100% go to this site and, kind of look around what is in the city. But then also you can visit the home. And just like in the city, this is a fully interactive 3D, animated of the home. And you can kind of, click through, like go to the bedroom. In the bedroom, there's different things that you might not know that NASA had a hand in, like temper foam. Invented during a NASA research project to increase the comfort and safety of commercial airline vehicle seats, temper foam, also known as memory foam, now appears in consumer products ranging from mattresses and pillows to hospital beds, footwear, prosthetics, and more. Memory foam has been around for many years now. We all know of. We've all heard of it. Some of us probably even sleep on it every single night. And it's so cool that NASA was developing that. LED light bulbs is another one. Running shoes down here, improved footwear. The high-speed stereo photogrammetry system one company altered to help NASA study recreations of the Space Shuttle Columbia disaster was picked up and used by a major shoe manufacturer to design a high-performance shoe. Engineers used the system to analyze the behavior of Olympic marathoners' feet as they hit the ground and made design and material alterations according to what they observed. How frickin' interesting is all of that? So 100% go to this site, go through it, and you learn so many cool things about everything that NASA has had their hand in, whether it's stuff in your home or stuff in your city. And it's really cool just even talking about some of the stuff we just saw, like with those running shoes. That was a completely different piece of technology that was being developed for a completely different thing that a shoe company took and was like, I bet you we can utilize this to make a better shoe. So advancements in science and technology are intrinsic to what we are discovering in space and because of space exploration and furthering space exploration. And there's nothing more exciting than that.